I'm Adam Wormald, the Communications Director here at Northview, and I'm sitting around the table with Ezra Okoti.
Hi.
And newcomer, Jesse Schellenberg.
Hello.
Jesse, who are you? Why are you here?
I get to be the campus pastor out in Mission.
All right. And Ezra, you were the campus pastor. How long ago was that?
Yes, that would be 5 years. So it will be 5 years next month. So towards the end of February, this coming February, it'll be 5 years since Northview planted or replanted the Mission campus. So
And we got a big party planned.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nice party, good food and all that. It'd be good
It's gonna
times.
be good.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode, Ezra is going to kind of interview you, Jesse, as a bit of a get to know our new campus pastor. But before we do that, let's just keep it light. I want to know personally, are you a movie guy? Do you like movies? Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber is the best movie ever made.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You're very serious.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're not even kidding.
No. This is me being serious right now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like, there's nothing even close to it.
No
For
way.
me, it's a close. As far as '90s comedies go, I think that's number 2 for me. I'm more of a
What's
Happy Gilmore guy.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can get behind that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the VHS of both Dumb and Dumber and Happy Gilmore,
Yes,
and they both got played repeatedly.
Yes.
Yes.
Enough
That's
times.
good. Ezra, have you seen Dumb and Dumber? Ezra?
I almost cracked
He
the
lives
joke there
it.
to
He
say,
lives
yeah,
it. Hey,
I see. No. It's me and Jeff. But let's just
That's
leave
true.
it there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, I haven't seen Dumb and Dumber. I've only seen clips. I haven't
my.
actually sat down to watch the movie.
You're missing out.
Okay, now his rationale. Again, for a lot of people who are immigrants, so we moved to Canada. There's a lot of movies that were playing in the 80s, in the 90s, even in the early 2000s that a lot of immigrants haven't really seen. They might have played in their home theaters, but again, going to a movie in Africa, dude, it costs an arm and a leg. So by the time you think, I can feed my family half a month with how much I'd pay to go to a movie theater. So at the end of the day, a lot of us would not have interacted with some of that content. So you'll excuse me for my ignorance when it comes to pop culture and movies and songs and things like that. So when you mention all sorts of artists and things, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. But it's all good.
I think as far as social media content goes, what would be amazing if we just did a live stream on social media of Ezra's face as he watched
For the
Dumb
first
and
time.
Dumber.
For the first time.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I'm just so curious what your reactions would be.
You know, I might actually this weekend I might borrow it on Apple TV if it's there. I'm sure it should be.
Oh,
I
you
can
don't
get you
need
the VHS.
Yes.
I have to get.
That's the optimal viewing.
I can get you
experience.
the DVD.
You have it,
Director's cut. Yeah,
No
absolutely.
way.
Collector's edition.
brother.
Yeah, you better believe
And
it.
I will
So-
call you blessed.
Okay.
Ezra, your homework this week
Okay, my homework.
is to watch Dumb and Dumber,
Yes.
and then next week give us your review.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
done.
So
Beautiful.
Jesse, other than being a massive Dumb and Dumber fan, which automatically I feel like I know you very
This
well.
connection, I can sense it as well.
What else? What else do you enjoy? Are you a sports guy? Do you like the arts, music? What do you do for hobbies? What's something that you really like?
Yeah, I love sports. Played quite a bit of baseball growing up. So like the Blue Jays.
Nice.
Follow them a little bit. Still like to play. Played men's league softball last few years and stuff. So that's how I get justify some exercise in there. Have a young family, so they keep me busy. Three young kids, so love hanging out with them, running around, especially when the weather's a little nicer, getting outside. One of the things moving back to BC we're excited about is exploring those things called mountains. They don't exist in Alberta. Did you know that? I didn't.
What?
Yeah.
Just on the border,
forgot.
I guess, eh?
Yep.
Wow.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
those kind of things.
Wow.
So you're a Blue Jay fan.
Look at that.
Sure, I like baseball. I like just baseball, the sport in general. So yeah, but Blue Jays would
Football,
be the team.
soccer,
Yeah,
hockey.
football. I don't mind. Football's good. Hockey is okay. Soccer is not a sport. So I thought I should clarify that.
Just be quiet.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you've just poked a bear right there.
I don't know if I
Right.
should
I wish I
leave.
had known this before we hired you.
Yeah,
Yeah, this would have been a different conversation.
I left
but-
that off the resume for
Oh,
sure.
good for you.
Yeah.
Wow, I think we have a lot of things in common.
Okay.
Soccer's the one sport I never played growing up.
Oh,
Blue Jays fan.
Yeah.
You know, 3 kids.
Adam, we could maybe even be friends.
Wow.
This would be good.
Wow.
Wow. Good.
That's cool.
That's good to know.
2 hipsters are now telling each other how awesome they are. Yeah, what's new?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what? I'm actually not planning to stay here for this. I have some stuff I'm going to do upstairs. You guys are going to take it from here. You're going to, Ezra, you're going to ask Jesse some questions about, his new role, what he's excited for to get started with mission. And I'm excited to listen in on that. Before I let you guys go, just a couple quick announcements. We have the men's retreat coming up April 3rd to 5th at Rock Ridge Canyon, which is always an awesome time. Back up at the canyon this year.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah, so signups, I believe, are available now on the website, so you can find that. Sign up. And other than that, coming up on February 9th is the next Selah event, which is our praise and prayer night. It's a Sunday night. And you can come at the Downs Road campus.
Yeah, our focus on that prayer night will be multiplication. So again, people have heard us talking about, hey, how do we multiply not only just other churches, but how do we share Jesus with our neighbors and things like that. So we'll be praying a lot for that, praying for non-Christian friends, families, co-workers, praying for church planting efforts, praying for other churches that either we have an affiliation with, whom we've planted, praying for the mission campus and East Abbotsford and all that. It'll be good times, man.
I believe that's also the weekend that Mark Birch will be preaching on multiplication as well. Yes.
So he'll be speaking on multiplication that weekend, and then it will lead up to the Sunday night when we get to pray now, based on what we have just heard and so much more. So it'll be good times. Please make that a priority in your calendar. It'll be great.
Yeah, and of course we always have lots of things going on at our church, so make sure to check out the website, stay up to date on social media. We're quite active on Facebook and Instagram, and you can stay up to date there. We also have a newsletter. Each campus has their own newsletter where we put some of the things that we don't post on social or don't announce. We can't announce everything from the stage. We can't put everything on social. So the newsletter is a great way to get a weekly update on what's going on. Also, the website is a great resource.
Where can I find this newsletter?
On the homepage of the website, there's a button right kind of near the top or right under the head image thing, and you can click on it and sign up. You just put your email in there, and then you'll start getting regular weekly newsletters.
So it'll come via email?
Yep, in your inbox.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Adam, that's actually a pretty good idea, this newsletter thing.
It wasn't mine.
It wasn't?
No.
I was trying to give you some kudos as a new friend, but
No, I'm
failed.
working on developing an app.
Oh.
For Northview, where kind of all of that stuff will be integrated there, as well as all of our sermons, all of our videos, all of our podcasts. Everything will be on there.
Nice.
It might be that my beautiful face will be the app.
The icon.
Icon, yes. Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
trying to still convince Adam that this is a good idea, but he's not feeling me. So thank you so much for that, Adam.
Well, we also are maybe thinking about changing the logo to a black N. So does that work?
Well, close, but not quite yet.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
my face better.
All right. So those are our announcements. And my way of signing off today is big gulps, huh?
Well, see you later.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber.
That's a good
all right.
spoiler for you there.
All right. No, I can't
You know
wait
that
to
line?
get... I have no idea what you just said there, but I will...
You'll watch for it.
I will watch for it.
It's good.
I will watch for it this weekend. When I sit down, popcorn, my kids around. Is it kid-friendly?
No.
No? Okay, so I'll take that as no.
Yeah.
So I will sit down with my wife then. And
Yes.
And
You
then
will enjoy it.
She's probably seen it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right. So, Jesse
Yes, sir.
Schellenberg, welcome to Northview, brother.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So, when was your first day?
My first day was January the 2nd. Technically the 1st, but Northview takes that day off because...
That's right. It's January the 1st.
Yes, yep.
So, I understand that, brother, you grew up at Northview Community Church.
I did. I was born, not literally here, but grew up here for the first probably 20 years of my life. You might recognize the last name. My father was children's pastor for a bit. Now he's care pastor. So, yeah, I got to roam the halls back in the day. But when I was 20, moved away to Alberta. But I'm back.
Okay, yeah, but
Brought me
you
back.
just rushed through your 20 years growing up at Northview. So don't be so fast. We're
okay,
going to
all right.
walk through these years nice and slow. So your dad, of course, being Vic Schellenberg,
Yes.
whom we have loved and teased for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so now when you were born, your parents were still attending Northview?
Yes. They were attending here. We lived on a pig farm, but that time pig prices went really poorly. And so Pops was looking for a new form of revenue for the old family there and got tapped on the shoulder to maybe consider being in children's ministry. So he had served in there a long time and took on the challenge. So that meant moving from our farm in Sumas Prairie out to Abbotsford. And then he served in that role, I think, for 14 years. He often will say that pig farming and children's ministry, there's a lot in common. That's probably not very nice.
Not very
but
nice.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
he's care pastor.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He gets paid to care though, so he doesn't actually care.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was that. So that brought us into Abbotsford. I went to Chief Dan George Middle School in town here. Graduated from Mowat Secondary.
French immersion?
I was not French immersion. No,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was going to say Einbischen, but that's German
That
for
is
a little
German,
bit. So
yeah.
that's shows how much
There's
French
no
I know.
bonjour in you.
No, not a chance.
None of that. Okay,
My
carry
kid's
on.
in French immersion though.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he actually came home from his first day and he said, "Dad, I taught the teacher how to say hello because she didn't know how, and I had to explain to him that it's French immersion." But that was good.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a sidetrack. But yeah, so that's kind of So moved here. So moved to Abbotsford and then lived here for till I was 21.
Right. So Moet graduated,
Yeah.
and then when you graduate high school, what next? What were you thinking at that point?
I was going to be a wealthy businessman. Yeah, it turned out really well for me.
So
Went to-
this led you to
Yes, went to
University.
Trinity Western University. Actually signed up in their engineering program. They had one where you spent 2 years at Trinity, then you go to UBC to finish it off. But turns out chemistry is hard. So if you're listening out there, just word to the wise, chemistry is difficult. And so kind of a moment in my life where I was really challenged. My identity as this wealthy, important engineer or businessman was really put to the test. And I had realized that I had found a lot of identity in who I was going to be and how I was going to impress my parents and my friends and my family at what I was going to accomplish. And God used that moment really cool to teach me a lot about where my identity should be, and surrounded me with some amazing godly young men who I aspired to be like and to just get to know what made them tick. And
Right.
so, Trinity was a huge moment in my faith journey, my formation, to recognize that my priorities were a little off.
So you realize chemistry is really hard.
Yeah.
So did you change your major?
I did. So I changed it. I got some interesting advice. I had said, "Dad, I think God's calling me maybe into ministry." And he said, "That's great. Take a business degree. Don't take a religious studies degree." And I was like, "Why?" And he says, "Well, if you're going to go into ministry, you're going to go into seminary, you're going to learn all the Bible stuff, and that's going to be good for you and necessary. But it's also good to know how to rub shoulders with the secular world." And so that was actually really good advice for me. So I graduated from Trinity with my business degree and had a brief, relatively successful career in the business world. We worked for a large company in Aldergrove, and then they were expanding out into Edmonton, and that's where my wife's. I met a wife, by the way, at Trinity. That was important too.
That's what you go to Trinity to
yes,
do.
that was the
Study
main
and meet a
reason,
wife.
and then I got a degree, so it's kind of a bonus.
There you go.
So then we the company was expanding into Edmonton, and so had an opportunity to go do that out in Edmonton, and we took it and had a lot of fun, learned a lot how to manage people, work with people that have different backgrounds and views and stuff, but really sensed God's call probably about 5-6 years in that he had plans for me to serve in his church.
And this all happened now while you're in Edmonton.
Correct.
So talk us through how that actually happened.
Yeah, for sure. So there's actually a pivotal moment. It was the very first day we had just commissioned our new plant, this big, brand new, shiny $14 million building with all the fancy equipment. It was day one. There was 100 employees going to cascade onto this building. And I was the plant manager. I was the one that was I was 24 years old, way over my head.
You were going to direct this
Absolutely,
operation. No way.
yeah, oh yeah. And so there I am, day one. I got there at 5 a.m, wanted to make sure everything was in order, and I opened the door and water floods out of this 40,000 square foot. Oh yeah, there was 6 inches of water on the ground, and I'm sitting there. oh boy, like there's not supposed to be water on the ground. And so I like splash all the way to the boiler room because I see there's water pouring out of it. And it was minus 40 that day.
Oh my.
And the people who had built the plant installed the exhaust fan backwards.
No.
And so rather than blowing like the bad air out of the boiler room, they were sucking the minus 40 degree air into the boiler. And they froze the boiler. Like, this is not good. Boilers are very expensive and heavy and all these kinds of things. So yeah, there was lots and lots of water everywhere. And I remember going back into my office and sitting down. It was in a puddle because everything was flooded. And I was so mad at God. Like, I had worked so hard, and there was this moment, and I was going to make a name for myself, and it was going to be good. And I couldn't think of anything but how angry I was at God in that moment. And it was from that moment on that I had realized the reason I was mad at God was very similar to why Jonah was mad at God. And it was because God was calling him to do something else, something different. He had a plan and a way better purpose for his life, and Jonah didn't want anything to do with it, and neither did I. I didn't want anything to do with what God was calling me to do and where he wanted me to be. That was both in my family life as a leader in our home and as a husband, as a dad, all these kinds of things, the things that God was calling me to do. I wanted to do things my way. And so I was angry, and I had my little moment. I didn't spend any time in the belly of a whale, but I was in a flooded plant, so there might be a bit of a correlation there, perhaps. But yeah, and that was a moment, a really big turning point in my life where I recognized, who am I going to live for? Who? And I just really appreciate that terrible moment that God used divinely by the power of his Spirit to draw me back to himself.
So I'm guessing it was a series of weeks when that adjustment took place where, okay, who are you living for and all that. So that took a few weeks before you realize, actually, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think more so it was more of a realization of my whole life, knowing that I think God had gifted me and equipped me to serve in his church, to be a shepherd of his flock. And I had denied it time and time again. So this moment wasn't a new revelation, but it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will.
That is remarkable.
Yeah. And it's hard when my identity was in success and fame. We like to call that idolatry.
Yeah.
So when our idols start to fall, it hurts. It hurts a lot, right? And so
yes, it does.
That was a real big moment in my life where I had to. Who am I living for? And everything I've done, the decisions I make, the way I'm directing my family, it's all based off of worshiping this idol that isn't right. It's a false god. And so yeah, that was a tough season, but
so
a good one.
So you were in Edmonton. You have this ridiculous moment, day one of your new life as an important business person. Buildings flooded, crisis moment. God reveals himself, asking you, "What are you doing here?" kind of thing. This is not what I called you to be.
Yeah.
So how then did you move away from the business world and come into the church world? How did that happen?
For sure. So not that long after that, it was probably about a year of figuring out, okay, so you can't just quit or whatever. I'd committed myself to this and put a lot of time and energy into it. And so I started thinking of, what do I do now, right? That's the natural question that came up. And so what happened after kind of a series of transition, eventually found myself in a role of sales so that I could work 4 days a week at this company and then go to seminary 1 day a week. And so that was really cool. And yeah, I bumped into someone at seminary. He was actually I forget his official title. I think it was area minister or something for the North American Baptist Association. And he said, bumped into him at seminary. He said, "Hey, let's grab a coffee." And so I just kind of shared with him my story and some of my experiences and stuff. And he said, "Hey, do you have a resume?" And oh, sure, why not? And I gave it to him. And I think 6 months later, I was on staff at a church in Alberta as associate pastor role.
While still doing seminary.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was probably a quarter done seminary, roughly, when I started at the church, and then finished it.
So how long were you serving at this previous church before you and I had conversations regarding the mission campus?
Probably about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 years, and then my time there total was about 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you were thinking church planting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know you're not supposed to have a favorite book of the Bible, but I do, and it's the book of Acts, and it's the story of how the Spirit is at work birthing the church, essentially. And it is, I find it profound. I find it some of the most fascinating narrative and the stories and just what God is doing and how he's doing it in all these diverse people groups and areas around the Mediterranean, using the Apostle Paul. I love it. I think it's amazing. And I think the church is an idea. It is an amazing idea that God is one of the primary ways in which he is bringing his gospel to the ends of the earth. And so, to me, the church in our culture, unfortunately, is kind of like a little lame puppy dog that we tap on the head. It's neat to have those nice buildings in our communities, and it's not seen as this bastion of light that it's supposed to be, according to Scripture. And so the idea that Northview's vision of church multiplication and church planting and really elevating what the church is in a local community is fascinating to me. And the reason it's fascinating to me is because it's so biblical. It's so what Pentecost is all about, essentially, right? With the apostles going out and starting this thing called the Great Commission. So yeah, that kind of Northview's vision and mission there, and just looking at my own life and my family and some of the ways God has gifted us and equipped us, just seemed like a really good fit for us to serve in that way and to become part of what Northview is trying to accomplish.
Man, I mean, it's great having you be a part of our staff team, and you're definitely a gift to us and to the people in mission. And I know they'll.
Okay, I've only been here 2 weeks. Be careful. Be careful. Okay.
They'll grow to love
Okay.
you. I mean, they loved me.
That's true. That's
and
a good
I'm
point.
hard to love.
Good point.
So they were very accepting. So I'm sure they will love you too and grow to really appreciate your ministry. So mission. So again, just giving people who are listening just a quick little overview. I heard that you were thinking church planting and you wanted to go through assessment and things like that. But around the same time, we were going through some transitions here at Northview, and I was going to be moving away from this role at the mission campus. But then we were thinking, okay, so now who would come and take over this work and things like that? And so we thought, hey, you know what, Jesse would probably be the guy. But again, we have to take him through the paces and discern if this is what the Lord is leading. That led to multiple conversations and coffees and things like that. And so here you are. Question, my dear brother.
Yes.
So now that you're here, what do you think about the mission campus? Now be careful.
Yeah, be careful. My first Sunday there, I looked them all in the eyes as I had the opportunity to preach, and I told them they're weird. Was the exact word. But here's what I meant by it. Here, look at me trying to justify my comments.
Yeah, your arrogance. But carry on.
Yes, mission is diverse. It is a very diverse city. As I mentioned in our sermon, it's the neighbors to the east of the mission campus is a monastery and a prison. To the west is redneck farmland on the north side of the road and suburbia on the south. I think of our own house that we bought in Mission. We have homeless people walking down our street across from $1 million homes, of which our house is not one of them. But it's just weird. It's a very diverse place. There's a big industrial area that you kind of drive through when you walk in. And one of the things that, as I continue to drive into the city and just kind of familiarize myself with it, is just a sense of anticipation and hope and wonder of what God is going to do in a diverse community like this with his gospel. Because we know that the gospel breaks down all of these silly barriers that us humans make, whether it's socioeconomic or racial or whatever it is. And so I think Mission Campus has an amazing ability to be a beautiful foretaste of the kingdom of God and what heaven's going to be like with regards to that. So,
a vast eclectic group.
Absolutely.
People from different socioeconomic backgrounds, from different cultures even.
Absolutely.
Moving into mission and being a part of that community. So there'll be listeners who will be asking, okay, so Jesse, what vision is God placing in your heart regarding the ministry of Northview Community Church at the Mission Campus in the next few years? Like, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you excited about? Of course, the gospel being preached to people is something that is near and dear to you for sure. But is there anything specific that you feel, man, the Lord is really drawing you toward this kind of ministry or this direction in regards to that campus and its ministry in that community?
Yeah. One of the things about the book of Acts, as I mentioned earlier, is it seems that when there was great gospel renewal happening in various cities or areas or places, it was because God had granted favor in the eyes of those communities or groups. And one of the things I can't help but notice is that God has granted the mission campus, Northview, the name of Northview in mission, incredible favor to the point where a secular high school is asking the youth pastor, Danae Friesen, to be involved there, to serve, to help, to mentor kids. This doesn't happen in our world, right?
That's right.
And there's many other examples of that, whether that's Mission Kids or some of the other ministries that is there. So I want to be sensitive to how God has granted that campus favor and see how we can take the good news of Jesus and not just share it amongst ourselves as believers. We are to do that. That's part of the call in Acts 2:42, but also to take heed of Jesus' words to go and to see what that might look like in the community of mission as God grants us favor in the eyes of the people there.
Yeah.
I think one story that I think it just makes me laugh is Frank and some of the team there putting a lot of effort into the Christmas parade, and they have a float that goes down, and they win the thing every year, right? And it's just neat to see. Is that the whole call of the gospel is to win the float in the local community? No, it's not. Or
Really?
Yeah.
I
No,
thought
it's
he
not.
was winning.
But can that be a tool for us to gain favor in the eyes of our community so that we can present the gospel? Absolutely, it can. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of just little stories like that are interesting to me.
So obviously you've only been here 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. A lot of ministries are now starting up. You came when there was this Christmas shutdown of the ministry, and then of course the snow is here and the cold weather. Sometimes I wish I was in Africa, but I'm not. Anywho, what are some ministries that either you have seen or that you're excited about that are currently happening at our mission campus? Now, the reason I'm asking this question is a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, a majority of them would be Abbotsford, Downs Road, or East Abbotsford folk, and they may not necessarily know exactly what goes on at the mission campus. So this is an opportunity for you just to let our viewers know, or our hearers know what's going on. What are some exciting things that are happening in mission?
For sure, yeah. So the ministries that are going to be similar to the ones in Abbotsford, the community groups, the men's and ladies Bible studies, I'm excited about those. We had our ladies Bible study kickoff because it was canceled last week because of the snow last week, and all the people involved in those are doing a great job, and really excited to see what God is going to do those. But in terms of unique ones to the mission campus, Mission Kids is one. It's a neat ministry where we pick up kids after school, bring them to the mission campus, give them a snack. The moms and family members that come with them sometimes go into the kitchen and they're taught how to make nutritious meals and are sent home with food for the week. The kids are mentored one-on-one with regards to schooling, giving a gospel lesson. What a neat opportunity. So that's one unique one. Really excited to see what God does through there. There's also a partnership on the campus with Jesters. That's another thing that's really cool. Kids coming to learn, community kids, Christian, non-Christian, to learn to build community through the arts, through theater. Again, also mentored, taught gospel lessons, those things. There's Motherhood Cafe, many things, probably things I'm forgetting for sure. It's a very dynamic place. I'm trying to keep my head on straight, but lots of cool things going on a mission. Yeah,
I mean, the Mission Kids program is a very unique program where these kids who come from really poor backgrounds socioeconomically and struggling with school a lot because just home life sometimes may not be the best for all sorts of reasons. And so just seeing a lot of volunteers at the mission campus stepping up and saying, hey, we want to love on these kids and their families as well, teach these kids, mentor them, moms in the kitchen doing some baking or whatever. But the point of the kitchen ministries, gospel conversations with these women, which will lead then to a community games night that happens maybe 3 or 4 times a quarter or something like that. A lot of fun little activities that the mission campus does. Man, it's really exciting to have you here, man.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah, so you have a wife.
I do.
And who is she?
She's amazing.
Is she?
Yeah, she's a great woman.
Of course she is.
Her name is Braden. She has a boy's name. It confuses everyone. Even the bank, we submitted our application for getting checks correctly, and it came back Mr. Braden Schellenberg and Mrs. Jesse Schellenberg. So there's that.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I have a girl's name. She has a boy's name. It's weird. Get over it. Braden and Jesse. Yes, that is who we are. She's an Alberta girl. So she is from northern Alberta, Valley. If anyone listening knows where that is, good for you. Town of, I think, 1,000 people or something like that. So she is getting acclimatized to the rain. She's used to the snow, so last week was actually quite comforting for her. But no, she
was right at home last week.
Yes. So we met in Trinity Western University. We've been married for, I think, almost 9 years coming up this summer. But yeah, amazing woman. She has an incredible gift of hospitality, and me being an introvert, often when I just go home and read a book and sit in the corner in the fetal position after dealing with humans all week. But she has a great ability of just bringing in people, whatever their stories or pasts are, into our home, making them feel loved and cared for, and it gives us as a family a beautiful opportunity to show the love of Christ. So
and
very,
together
very
you have kids.
Yes, we do. We have 3 children. Maverick is our oldest. He is 5.5. We have Ren, who's our middle child. She is 3.5, and then Oliver, who's a rambunctious little guy. He is 1.5 years old, and they keep her extremely busy.
Of course they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, and by trade, your wife would be
She's a trained educator, so she's a teacher, hoping to, get on some sub lists and stuff here probably in the near future once we settle in a little bit and do a little subbing in the school system in Mission and such. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
But it's really exciting, Jesse, to have you at Northview because, again, even as we talked a little bit about you growing up at Northview and things like that, you attended Jeff Bucknam's young adults group and
Absolutely.
then mine a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, the times have gone.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a question for listeners who may be new to Northview.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, Northview before and Northview today, what are some changes that you would say, man, this is a significant change of Northview? And again, you being a guy who you moved to Alberta, so you're attending a different church, a whole different denomination.
Yes.
And now you've come back home.
Yeah.
So the Northview you find in 2019, 2020, and the Northview you left changes. Anything that stands out to you that'd be worth mentioning?
2 things. I would say, one, it's really big. There's lots of people here. I think my first day I'm at the Downs campus and in the office, and I don't recognize any of these people. It's kind of intimidating. There's lots of moving parts. So that would be one. There is just a lot of things going on at Northview, and that's amazing, and that's really cool. And so I got a lot to learn still, but excited to be part of that team. I think another thing is actually not different, but the reason Northview was my home church and was really influential was because there was a gospel-centeredness to this church 15 years ago, 10 years ago when we left to Alberta, and that is still the same, and that is so important. I think it's kind of neat as you think about the multiplication vision and even the building campaign and stuff coming up. You think of why do we need to do this and all that kind of stuff. And I just go back to me as a young guy. This church had a place, a spot for a young adult who was kind of wandering in their faith, kind of thinking, how important is this? And I need to be a rich businessman. And how is this all going to work?
Yeah.
That there were people willing to speak into my life, the Jeffs, the Ezras, who were willing to say, Jesus is more important than your career goals or any of this other stuff. And that message is still clear at Northview. And that's really important. There's lots of change. The buildings change, the staff change, all these kind of things change. But if we would lose that gospel call, then that would be a problem. And so it's exciting to be part of a church that has a history of that. And that the fruit of it has been beautiful in terms of making disciples.
So as we come to a close of this little mini interview that I'm having with you, you and Braden and the kids are settling into the Fraser Valley Lower Mainland after being away for a number of years. What are some things that our people can be praying for, particularly when they think of you, they think of the mission campus and the ministry that God has called you guys into? A few prayer items that our people can be remembering when they think of you guys.
For sure. For me, the biggest one is relationships. I think ministry is all about relationships with God and with one another. And so I need to make relationships quickly with leaders, with congregants, with fellow staff members. So just pray that I would continue to have the relational capacity and the energy and the patience to spend time with people. That's everything. It's very easy to get caught up in all the things going on and try to, just catch up and spend time doing that. But just moments for me to recognize people are so important, and that's the call of a pastor, is to shepherd the flock. And so just that I would have, that God would be with me as I seek to build relationships, and that they'd be built quickly so that we can get to work serving our Lord would be a big one. And then the other thing is we're moving. We calculated our little guy, Maverick, has lived in 6 houses in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So we're done with that. We're over it. I'm done with moving. We have one more move to go. We're actually living in our parents' house right now. And so we're quickly trying to finish up some renovations in our house in Mission so that we can move in there, and can't wait to see how God uses that house for His glory out in Mission. But if we could be praying for just that transition. Man, our kids have been rock stars in terms of starting a new school and new friends and different relationships and all that kind of stuff. But just continue to lift up my family in prayer with regards to this kind of final transition until we make a new home would be much appreciated.
You betcha, man. We will definitely be praying for you. Jesse, welcome
you.
to the Northview Church family. Welcome again.
Yes, sure.
This has been home for you. I am so thrilled and so, humbled by the way the Lord's providence works, where you were born, when your parents were attending here, you grew up at this church, were discipled here through our children's ministries, youth, young adults. You go out wanting to change the world as a business person. The Lord calls you, takes you through schooling, gives you ministry experience, and here you are now, a pastor in the church that you were actually born into. This is remarkable providence and evidence of God's grace, obviously on you, your family, and also to this church. So it's you are a success story, man, and I couldn't be prouder and happier for you and your family for this new journey that the Lord has put you in.
Yeah, glory to God.
Yeah,
Amen.
man. So again, God bless you. Thank you so much for being a part of our team here. And I'm sure you'll be hearing your voice on the podcast and in other places as well as we move along here. Hey?
Sounds good.
Good times, man. Well, if you're listening, again, that is Jesse Schellenberg, our campus pastor at the Mission Campus. We are so delighted that this brother is part of our pastoral team. And you may want to go and visit the Mission Campus. When he's saying that the ministry there is really doing great.
It is the best campus, by the way. Just thought I should clarify that.
You know, I wouldn't doubt that because I was actually there
absolutely.
too. So
there you
go.
Of
course.
Yeah.
I would really encourage you, if you've never been to a Mission Campus, you might want to go and visit this campus. I mean, 5 years in, we are just shy of 600 people coming there on each weekend. I mean, the Lord is doing amazing things at that campus. Go check it out one of these weekends. You will love the staff there. Frank, amazing worship leader. Jesse, remarkable pastor.
Staff are awesome.
Staff are awesome. It's really, really cool. Well, God bless you guys, and we will catch you at the next one.